This is Volusia Today, a public information radio program brought to you by the County of Volusia.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Volusia Today, your one and only trusted source for local Volusia County government information. I'm Clayton Jackson, your host today, and I'm joined by a couple of people today. We have Pat Kuehn with us and Bre Goldstrom, and I'll introduce our guest of honor, Scott Olson from our Veteran Services Division in just a few minutes. Before we get into our special edition for Veterans Day, upcoming Monday, just a couple of hurricane building recovery items. We made a big announcement this week that FEMA will be placing disaster recovery centers in Volusia County in the coming weeks. They're going to be opening one at the John H. Dickerson Community Center. That's going to run November 12th through November 19th. And then the following week, there's going to be one at the center at Deltona. That's going to run from November 21st through November 27th. Both of those will be open 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily. It's a wonderful opportunity for residents who are impacted by the hurricane to actually meet one-on-one with FEMA representatives. There will be additional representatives from the Small Business Administration as well as the Red Cross. Again, there's still opportunities for people to apply online at disasterassistance.gov through the FEMA mobile app or through the FEMA hotline at 800-621-3362. Again, we encourage any of our residents who are still recovering from the hurricane to apply for FEMA assistance if you have not already done so. And, everybody knows the basic FEMA assistance, emergency funding. They also have a lot of, temporary housing if you're unable to live safely or return to your home. But there's also a lot of other programs out there, like far as if you have a private road or bridge that is damaged, a septic system or well, there's a lot of information out there and a lot of assistance available. And also the state of Florida, the Department of Children and Families, they're actually opening their DSNAP, which a lot of people have been asking about, which is the Disaster Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Pre-registration for that for Volusia County residents will begin this Monday. The registration will be available at myflfamilies.com/DSNAP. So we encourage our residents who are not already on the regular SNAP program to check that out to see if they're available for any assistance. So that's with the Hurricane FEMA recovery right now. Also, we are continuing with our debris removal in our unincorporated areas as well as those along county maintained roads. We are progressing along very smoothly. We are on track so far to get the 100% reimbursement from FEMA. So we're very excited about that. The county does have 4 drop-off sites for vegetated debris. So if you have the capacity to load up the debris, take it to the site, go for that. There's 4 across the county. Check our website for those sites and hours. And then just a message we just keep wanting about debris is make sure to separate it. If you have tree limbs mixed in with like broken fences or any type of other what they call C&D construction and debris demolition, they will not pick that up. So please make sure to do that and do not bag your vegetated debris because they cannot take that. All right. So enough of the updates about the hurricane. So Pat, tell us about what's going on your way.
Well, let's talk about elections. Election season is over, thank goodness. And we still have a lot of signs on the roadways. And the good news is that people can drop them off at the Volusia County Ag Center from 10 to 5 on November 22nd and 23rd, and they'll dispose of them in a proper way.
All right, perfect. All right, so that's enough with the county news. We'll make sure we give some ample time to cover our Veteran Services Division in honor of Veterans Day upcoming. So we have Bre Goldstrom and Scott Olson. Bre is actually with the community. She's with us, Community Information Division. Mm-hmm. Bre, how are you doing?
I am good. Just busy as usual. It's a busy weekend. It's Veterans Day weekend, of course, but it's also birthday party weekend for me. My daughter turns 6 next week, and we're throwing a birthday party.
What's the theme of it?
Taylor Swift. She is.
Are you willing to sing for us right now?
Oh, absolutely not.
No, okay.
No, she is the Swiftie of the household. She loves all things Taylor Swift.
What's her favorite Taylor Swift song?
Oh my goodness. There's quite a few. Bad Blood, I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, Lover. She's a very big fan of the Lover album and the 1989 album. So,
all right. We'll make sure you get some videos of that.
Oh, for sure. We got a karaoke machine and she was loving it. We had to try it out.
Awesome. And Scott, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing well. I appreciate you guys having me on today, but I'm doing well.
Always a pleasure. So before we really get into what the Veteran Services Division does, we just want to recognize both Scott and Bre, because both of you are veterans of the Armed Forces. So, thank you for your service. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And, Bre, again, she's part of our team, but you don't hear from her much on the radio show. And, in honor of Veterans Day, you are the only veterans in our division. So we wanted to bring you on. So, tell us a bit about your service.
So I did 4 years in the United States Army. Right out of high school. I had actually planned on attending college and going to college on an ROTC scholarship and going in as a commissioned officer. However, plans changed and I just enlisted. I went to basic training a few months after I graduated high school, and I did 4 years. My first duty station was overseas in Korea. I spent a year there. Fantastic food. If anybody ever gets a chance to go to Korea, go. The food is phenomenal. And then after that, I was stationed at Fort Stewart, Georgia, in Hinesville. It's about 30-ish minutes from Savannah. And I spent about 2.5 years there, and it was fantastic. I loved it. Historic Savannah is just absolutely beautiful. But then I got out and I did a little bit of time as a contractor with the Army. But I was married then, and my ex-husband was also in the military, and he was, we got stationed elsewhere. So.
And then before you came into Community Information Division with us, where were you with the county?
I actually was with the Division of Corrections. I spent about 2 years there. However, I loved it, but it just was not, the schedule didn't work for my family, but I absolutely loved it. I coming from a military background, law enforcement is very paramilitary. Mm-hmm. So, it just kind of felt almost right at home. So I spent about 2 years working at the jail, and then I came to community information, and I also love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a lot of people think, oh, I'm in government, I got to stay in one division or just my whole career. But like, I've been with the county for 8 years, and I've seen many of our staff, transfer because they just wanted to change a pace. They say, oh, this was an exciting opportunity. I'd like to challenge myself that way. Again, I came from the community services department, and now I'm in community information. Even our previous director, Kevin Captain, now he's the EMS director. So again, there's anybody's looking for a job, hey, check out our website, because we're hiring, and opportunities for growth. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So Scott, tell us a bit about your service in the military, sir.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I, just like Bre, joined right after high school. I think I graduated high school on a Friday, and then Monday I was shipping off to boot camp. So
didn't even take a week off?
No, didn't take a week off. Just kind of jumped right into
it. That's hardcore right there.
Right. Hey, I guess I was just ready to, to get out of home and just, go and serve. So I ended up doing around 10 years in the Marine Corps. I was stationed in the desert, 29 Palms, California. Not a lot of people have heard of it. I guess close to Palm Springs, just kind of middle of nowhere. But so I was there for my entire almost 10 years. I served 6 years as an infantryman, and I deployed 4 times overseas, 3 to Iraq, and then 1 time I was on a Navy ship, and we went to Korea, Hong Kong, Philippines, and all over the place. And then I wrapped up the rest of my years in service as an instructor at a staff academy. So, yeah, that's pretty much service in a nutshell.
And then how'd you end up with the county?
Yeah, so you know what it is? It's a wild story. So when my wife, she's also a Marine, when I got out, she had about 1.5 years left, and then she got out, and we moved to Florida here in Volusia County, and she heard about Veteran Services Division online through a friend. So she went there and she actually got help with some of her VA benefits. And then she encouraged me to go to the office. So I went to the office and I got some help with my benefits. And I was like, man, it'd be really cool to work there one day. And at the time I was working for the post office and I had been there for about 2 years. And then a position came open in 2018 and I applied and lo and behold, I got the position and I've been with the county ever since. It was really cool how everything kind of worked out.
We've been working together when I was in community services, which is part of veteran services. You and your team are phenomenal.
No, thank you. And that's one thing I love, like you were saying, with the county, you worked in, community services, and that's where we met. Mm-hmm. And that was really cool to meet you there. And then you moved to community information, and it was, I love the county.
No, all right. So we're going to take a quick break. And with that, we'll come back and go into what Veteran Services does.
7 miles of unique coastline. Volusia County beaches. Yeah, those beaches. But also these beaches. We have millions of visitors every year, and we work around the clock to keep our beaches safe and beautiful. And you can help!
Swim near a staff lifeguard tower.
Pick up your trash. And fill holes. Identify, avoid, and escape rip currents.
Please leave the beach cleaner than you found it.
There we go. Look out for one another and keep an eye on kids, especially near the traffic lane and in the water. Pets are allowed at our 2 pet-friendly beaches, Lighthouse Point Park and Smyrna Dunes Park.
If you see something, say something.
A clean and safe beach guarantees fun in the sun for everyone. Thank you for doing your part to keep Volusia County beaches beautiful. See you at the beach!
Make the most of your day at the beach. Download the Volusia County Beaches app today. Sign up for real-time notifications on vehicle ramp openings and closings. Find staffed lifeguard towers. Get updates on tides and beach conditions, plus off-beach parking and coastal parks info. Volusia County Beaches app is available for your smart devices at the App Store and Google Play.
We're back. I'm Pat Kuehn, and you're listening to Volusia Today, which is Volusia County's weekly radio show, and we have 2 veterans here with us today. And I'd like to start by talking to Scott Olson about what Veteran Services does. I understand you helped 17,000 veterans just last year.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So what kind of benefits can you help them get?
All right, so that's a great question. So we help with a variety of benefits. I always tell everybody that all of our service officers, we are the jack of all trades when it comes to VA benefits. Disability compensation, which is an injury, an illness, or disease that happened on active duty. A majority of our work and our claims are filed under disability compensation. We also file for non-service connected pension, education, healthcare, burial benefits. So really, we act as a vital link between, the veterans here in Volusia County and the Department of Veterans Affairs. And to kind of sum it all up, I could kind of, tell you guys a story, because a lot of people who weren't familiar with the VA and the way the benefits work, when they hear that stuff, they're like, all right, well, what does, compensation mean? And what does pension mean? And, how does that really impact and help our local veterans? So a couple years ago, I had a veteran come into the office, and he was homeless, living in the Ocala forest in like a broken trailer, no electricity. I think he had maybe $200 coming in from Social Security. Had some substance issues. He wasn't connected with his family, his grandkids, and he really was looking for help. So long story short, what we ended up doing is we filed for a benefit that's called a non-service connected pension. Veterans who served during a period of war are eligible for that program as long as they meet certain income thresholds. So I would say within a couple of months, he had over $2,000. Coming in for income. We were able to get him into an apartment through the VA and the vet center and other services. We were able to get him substance help and therapy and treatment. So really, we were able to connect him and help process and file all those benefits for the veteran. And I'll never forget it. He came in the office, I would say probably about 9 months later, and he was sober. He looked great. he had income, and not only that, but he was really reconnected with his kids and his grandkids. So, that type of thing is what we're able to do for our veterans. So to kind of wrap it all up, that is what we're able to do. All of our service officers, they're veterans. They're really compassionate for what they do, and we have a great team. So.
Yes, you do a wonderful job there. And you helped out. It wasn't you, but before you started working there, my mother got some help there. She was the widow of a World War II veteran.
Wow.
And your staff helped her get aid in attendance, and she got about $1,500 a month until she died, and that really made a big difference in her life.
No, that's awesome, and that's another good point that you brought up. We just don't help veterans, but a lot of dependents, surviving spouses, they're entitled to VA benefits, and we can help surviving spouses. And a lot of times, if these spouses stayed home and they didn't work, and the veteran, the spouse was the one working, when they pass away, they're left with little to no income, and they don't know that they're eligible for benefits. So we'll get, surviving spouses coming in, and they're brokenhearted, and they don't know how they're going to pay their bills, and, give it, a short amount of time, and, a little bit of digging and research and help, and they're able to apply for those benefits and then get income and get the help that they need. So surviving spouses are eligible as well. So great story.
I am trying to wrap my head around. Did you say 17,000 veterans last year?
Yes, in 1 year. That's a lot of appointments.
The county I grew up in the hills of eastern Kentucky, Estill County, only had about 15,000 people in our entire county. So I'm literally trying to wrap that in my head.
Yeah.
How amazing that is.
So I'll brag on the county for a minute, not just because I'm employed by Volusia County, but out of the 67 counties in the state of Florida, by far Volusia County has the most amount of veteran service officers, and that's because Volusia County loves veterans and values veterans and their service and commitment, to our nation. So out of all the counties, we have 4 offices, and we have, including myself and our director, we have a total of 11 service officers, and that is greater than Orange County, Miami-Dade, and all these other counties. But, we also have a high veteran population. We have over 72,000 veterans, in Volusia County, and that, isn't including surviving spouses and dependents and those eligible for benefits. So, yeah, last year was a busy year. It was a good year, and that's 17,000, veterans and spouses that we're able to help.
So with the 17,000 veterans that you guys were able to assist, that's a lot for sure. What is the most common assistance request that you guys see in your offices?
Okay. So really, really good question. And I would say probably the biggest request for services is going to be, income driven or based on, disability compensation. A lot of veterans, they just don't know that, that the time that they spend on active duty, anything that happened to them, can be monetarily compensated. And not only that, the Department of Veterans Affairs in this nation has a responsibility to treat those injuries that happen. So, we'll get veterans that served in, Vietnam, and they never knew, or they never thought, or maybe they, never felt like they were eligible or entitled to benefits, or they didn't need them at the time where they got out. So now they'll come in, years and years later and say, I'm dealing with this pain, or I'm dealing with this illness or this injury or this disease. And, I think it's related to the military. So a lot of the work that we do focuses around that, and then we help with a lot of appeals. There are certain elements that are required by law in order to get the VA to grant benefits. So we'll help with a lot of appeals. When the VA denies a claim, veterans will come in sometimes frustrated and say, I don't know why they denied this claim. I know this injury happened on active duty. What do I do? And our guys are very, very good at taking that rating decision, reviewing it, and then coming up with a good game plan to get that veteran the benefit that they need. So disability compensation, appeals is a big one. I would say, VA healthcare. We help a lot of veterans get connected with VA healthcare, and it's really cool because we have clinics all around the county, VA health clinics all around the county. So we're able to reach out to them directly, send veterans there directly, just through networking and relationships that we've built with them. I had a veteran earlier this week, and She, was on the brink of being homeless. She just moved here. She hadn't been getting VA healthcare in about a year and a half. And literally she was in my office for about 40 minutes. And by the time she left, she had her new healthcare appointment set up with the VA, mental health services going. She yesterday went to the Paychecks for Patriots event held by Volusia Flagler Career Source. So literally she came in not knowing what she was going to do, looking for help with employment and healthcare. And by the time she walked out, she was, totally taken care of. So
do you guys help with finding veterans employment as well, or do you partner with other organizations to do stuff like that?
So good question. We, I always refer people to Volusia.org, to try to find a good job with the county, because
it's amazing.
I mean, it is. It's a great place to work. But other than that, we do have some employers that come in and say, hey, I'm looking to hire a veteran and here's my card. So we make those type of referrals. But we work a lot with Volusia Flagler Career Source. They have a specific department that is geared towards helping veterans. They have, people on that team are veterans themselves, and they do good work. So a lot of the times, we'll do that warm handoff. I will give one of their counselors a call personally and say, hey, I have a veteran here and they're looking for employment. And so that way we make sure that connection actually happens before we leave, or before the veteran leaves the office. So
that's awesome.
And just kind of let everybody know, because obviously the division is part of the community services department.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have this perception that, there's income requirements, or I need to be low income or something like that to apply. And what you said, the community services department does have, like through the community assistance division as well as others, a lot of low income driven services. Yeah. But for veteran services, there's no income requirement.
Yeah, you know what? Correct. So there are some programs out there that are through the VA that are going to be income driven, but I always tell people you could be a millionaire and walk through the door and have injuries and illnesses and things like that happen on active duty, and your income does not play a factor into that.
And that's why I try to tell people, it's like, hey, it's like, if you're a veteran and everything's run smooth in your life, everything's fine, but you may be entitled to benefits that you're not receiving. I said, so why not make an appointment or walk in and sit down with one of our counselors for 20, 30 minutes, just because you all are experts. You all are, I know y'all have to go through testing and stuff like that to VA. That way in and out of what benefits are available. Right. So you guys are the experts. You know, like I say, like, hey, you've been eligible for this benefit. I know everything's fine in your life, but it may set your dependents up for something like that. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's a big one, is we'll get veterans that'll come in and be like, I don't need it. I'm fine, or, my income is fine and things like that. And, I always let them know that, hey, you're not taking away a benefit from anybody else by getting yours, number one. And number two, you can literally be setting your family up for success, because if for some reason, you pass from one of these ailments that are related to active duty, then your spouse could be eligible for those survivors' benefits. So it always is very important to get into an office and to apply.
So this is kind of a personal question. What about those of us who do not have a spouse, but my children are young? Worst case scenario, something happens to me and my children no longer have a mother.
Sure.
Would my children, with them being minors, be eligible for survivors benefits?
So that's a great question, and the short answer is yes. Of course, it's gonna matter, honestly, not to sound morbid, but on the manner of death. Will determine eligibility for those type of benefits. But it's sad, and unfortunately, we deal with that. Our service officers deal with that, where a single parent who is a veteran passes away and they have small children, but those children could be eligible for income, and not only that, healthcare, and not only that, but educational assistance as they get older in life. So there are benefits out there.
Are there educational benefits for those who their parents are still with them, but they're a veteran? Their parents are a veteran?
So if the veteran is 100% permanent in total for VA purposes, then the children are eligible for what's called Chapter 35 benefits. It's Dependents Educational Assistance. And it kind of works like a GI Bill, where the VA would pay that child X amount of dollars a month to help with cost of living, to help them kind of navigate life while they go to school. And then there's a bunch of different scholarships out there for those children whose parents are, totally disabled through the VA.
I'll have to write that down for sure.
All right.
Absolutely.
So before we take our last commercial break, can you tell us where the offices are and how someone can work with you guys to try to get assistance?
Absolutely. So we have 4 offices that are located throughout the county. We have an office in DeLand. That's right off of Rich Avenue, right next to the huge Thomas C. Kelly building. We also have an office in Deltona, and it's co-located with the Deltona Library. We also have an office in New Smyrna Beach off Canal Street, and then we have one right here in Daytona Beach. It's co-located with the Health Department off of Olson back. And any veteran could walk in Monday through Friday, put their name on the board and get seen, or they can call any of the phone numbers and they can schedule an appointment.
All right. With that, let's take our last commercial break. Stay with us.
Subscribe to the Volusia County YouTube channel.
And hit the bell icon to know what's happening in your hometown.
There are so many great places to explore.
And things to learn.
With over 1,000 videos available right now, the channel offers something for everyone.
Let's go!
Did you know we have countless features showcasing history, nature, wildlife, and recreation? Subscribe and hit the bell icon.
Or that we live stream important county meetings and workshops where leaders make decisions that can impact our everyday lives. Did you subscribe yet?
Or that we record our weekly radio show, Volusia Today, where we interview staff from the different divisions and departments across our great county, and they discuss the nitty-gritty of their field and expertise.
Go ahead, subscribe.
But that's not it. There's more. Subscribe and hit the bell icon and fully explore.
Score!
Welcome back to Volusia Today. So in the last minute we have, I want to ask each of y'all, what does Veterans Day mean to you? Where you go first?
So Veterans Day for me, it's a time to honor the family that you gain when you're in the military. It's not just coworkers or just friends that you have at work. You form, it's typically called a brotherhood, and you really do. I still keep up with a lot of my friends from the military, and I was in 12 years ago, so it's family to me.
All right, Scott?
Yeah. No, very well said. It is a bond, of brotherhood that's formed. So I always say, Veterans Day is meant to honor the living, those veterans who are still with us, their families who served alongside of them. So if you see a veteran out there wearing their hat or wearing a T-shirt, this upcoming Monday on Veterans Day, make sure you tell them thank you for your service.
All right. And again, we just want to thank you all for being on the show, telling all of our veterans and our community, educating them what Veteran Services does, what services are available to them. And, we just want to say happy Veterans Day. Thank you all for your service. Thank you to all of our Volusia County veterans, and thank you to all veterans across America. Have a good weekend, Volusia County.